I was never that far away. I guess I'm supposed to say you can't get rid of me that easy or something like that. I'm glad to be here. I wouldn't have it any other way, and I'm grateful to be doing the job that I love.
It all began when I saw Sam Hunter's play The Whale in New York City at Playwrights Horizon, and was just deeply moved by characters that were unexpected, that on the surface I had little connection to, but as soon as the play started I felt incredibly deeply for them and with them. And I left the theater going, wow, that would be very interesting to try to turn that into cinema.
When I heard that Darren was going to make a movie, I absolutely wanted to know what it was going to be. And knowing the creativity and control that Darren has always shown in his work, I absolutely wanted to be a part of it.
It was a really long search to find Brendan. I didn't really want to wake up in the morning and make this movie with anyone else up till when I met Brendan. When he left my office after our first meeting, I felt it. I was like, oh, this is exciting. To be honest, it wasn't because I was a scholar of his earlier work. I've been kind of amazed with all the love out there, and I recognize now that those films are really seminal films, the 90s work, the 90s chapter. And I'm happy for that, but it wasn't really in any way a calculation. It was really just finding the right actor at the right time for the job.
Adrian Moreau designed a character makeup of Charlie's body by scanning me, inputting that information virtually, creating a model. The thing is, by working in a 3D capacity, he had absolute control over every aspect of Charlie's body, the size of the pores, the placement of them even. He was able to be authentic and exacting in the design of this character.
The main rule I gave him was you can't in any way interfere or cover Brendan's main instrument, which was his face. So every wrinkle, excuse me for that,
None taken.
every crease I wanted him to be able to use. So Adrian was able to sculpt something which didn't interfere with his instrument, and all of the emotions that are in the film is this guy, and it's all his work.
We had the collaboration of the Obesity Action Coalition, an online organization that supports people who live with obesity, to give us notes on the script, on the makeup, guidelines in general.
But also to open their doors to people who have lived with obesity and live with obesity and tell us about their lives. And you spent a lot of time with those folk.
Overall, they impressed on me that they want this story to be told with authenticity. I felt a sense of duty to uphold that.
If you look at the history of characters that live with obesity being portrayed in film, it's often a punchline. It starts with, of course, how the roles are written. They're not written with honesty, they're not written with care, they're just butts of jokes in general. And then it continues through the makeup, which is often cut from foam and completely unrealistic. We wanted to be truthful and honest in every step because making the film was an exercise in empathy.
Obesity is the last domain of prejudice that we as a society still haven't changed the way we speak about it, the way we refer to people, the way that we care about one another. And I'm hopeful that that can change. And I do believe in the power of film and culture to change the conversation in a way that allows people to open their hearts and minds a bit more. I think that when we look at the emotional internal reality of who Charlie is, we can see that he is a man who cares intensely about connecting with one another. And the corporal being that he inhabits is really the least important thing about him.